Driving with Mayor and Mike.
6 feet.
Really?
6 feet.
6 feet.
How's that?
Yeah.
We good? We good?
Okay.
We 6 feet away, Mayor. We
Are
rolling.
on?
We're on.
We're 6 feet.
Yeah, we're 6 feet.
Yeah. But in a car, we're not 6 feet.
In a car, we're not 6 feet, but that's why
So
we're rolling over
that's why we're
here.
not in a car.
Yeah.
That's why we're not in a car. But we're still just going from home to work, work to home for me.
Yeah.
And for you, home to work, work to home for you.
Home to
right?
work to home, work
And,
to
yeah.
pick up some food, and then
Yeah.
back home, and yeah.
Sometimes skateboarding to pick up food.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well,
What are we
Mayor,
talking about today?
whole bunch of stuff
Oh,
is
yeah?
opening up today.
That's right.
Yeah, so Mayor, what are some of the things that are opening up?
I think today, June 19th, which is also Juneteenth,
Juneteenth? Happy Juneteenth.
is a lot of things are opening up. I think pretty much everything is going to be opened up on the island of Oahu in one way or another, except large events. You know, you're not going to be able to go to the stadium to see a football game yet, or go to Stan Sheriff's to see the volleyball team play, or go to a large concert where Beyonce, like a Lois Stadium, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But can't do those things yet. But almost everything else you can do, and what's happening today that you can do that you haven't been able to do for the past couple months is, number one, you can go lift weights and work out.
Yeah,
And that's
fitness
something at
facilities.
gyms and fitness facilities.
Yeah, so that includes dance studios, yoga
Yoga
studios,
studios.
bar classes, my wife's
Heavy-duty
dance
kind of gyms,
studio,
CrossFit. your
CrossFit
wife's-
gyms.
Yeah, a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that's opening up. And the other one is you can go to a bar now.
Yeah.
Now, some restaurants have bars where restaurants, you know, you maybe use the bar area, but now those bars that are just bars can open up. Of course, again, just like with restaurants, you have to have physical distancing, 6 feet, as you say, where possible,
Yeah.
and wearing face coverings except when you come in and when you leave. Of course, those serving drinks have to wear face coverings, and need to be very, very careful.
Yeah.
And we were a little bit nervous about bars because we know, or when you have a couple beers, you start to get relaxed and you start forgetting your physical distancing, and you
Yeah.
get closer, and you got to be
Kinda-
careful because we don't have a complete control on the virus yet. We've seen an increase. We're now at 27 cases today.
Yeah, 25 on Oahu.
Yeah, 25 on
Yeah.
Oahu, 27 around the state of Hawaii.
Yeah.
And at the height, the most we ever had was 33. So we're getting close to where we were. We want to make sure we can manage it. We've been told by Department of Health. But what really makes a difference is all of us. So
Yes.
we're really asking you, Michael. And you're younger.
Yeah.
You probably go to bars. I don't. But if you go to a bar, you're going to be very careful, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not drink too much.
Mhm.
To be careful, remind yourself not
Yeah.
to get close to others. And
Make sure your judgment isn't
Yeah,
impaired.
that's
that
right.
might make you go close to somebody.
exactly.
Yeah. Let's touch on the number real quick before we go back to some of the other things that are reopening. So that number, 27, 25 on Oahu sounds scary, but again, we anticipated this, right? We saw the first bump. At that time, we didn't have all this, health infrastructure in place, but we knew once that curve got killed that as we reopened, we'd see another bump, right? I mean, like.
I think and we've seen this happen in other places that have opened up, including other countries. And the medical advisors have told us, health professionals, Department of Health, and others have said that you will see an increase as you open up, as you thaw out your economy. But I think those who are really on it really control the number of cases that increase. And we've been told when we invite visitors back from outside the state, you could see as many as 50 cases a day. Not every day, but you could see which we've never had.
Yeah.
And they also say you can manage those cases. And we know places like Incheon, South Korea, Seoul, Korea, South Korea, very large cities. They've been able to stay open and have a number of cases and manage it. And that's what we need to do. And that involves us practicing, again, wearing our face coverings, physical distancing, but it's also being really on it in terms of aggressive testing.
Yeah.
And then contact tracing. If someone is tested positive, within hours, within 24 hours for sure, you've talked to everyone else this person has come into contact with, test them too.
Yeah.
And if they're negative, fine. If they're positive, we need to put them in quarantine, isolate them with support where necessary, and go on contact tracing. If we do that, we can live with a certain number of cases and continue to open up, which you absolutely have to do, right, Michael? Or people are going to be really hurting. There's not going to be much to open up to shortly if we don't thaw out our economy quickly.
Yeah.
But it's incumbent on us again to make sure we can do that.
Yeah, and thankfully that's the difference between the first, increase and this, I guess, second increase in a sense. Because the first time we didn't know what it would look like, we didn't have the infrastructure set, but this time we have the testing that's going on. We have contact tracers that the State Department of Health knows how to train people up and how to contact trace as they've been doing. They've been finding clusters in various communities because of contact tracing. And people in our communities, they're getting used to wearing masks. More and more people I see carrying hand sanitizer around with them too. Hopefully still washing their hands for 20 seconds. Happy birthday 2 times, or sing a chorus of your favorite song.
Yes.
But yeah, let's look back at some of the other reopenings.
So, for example, movie theaters can open. Now, I don't know how many are going to open right now because there's no new movies coming out.
Yeah.
So we may not see many open. But the other one is museums. And this morning, we went down a very positive experience. You were there, Michael, and with Paula Akana, who's the executive director of the Friends of Iolani Palace. And Iolani Palace, which is an incredible museum, the only museum like it in the entire United States.
Yeah.
It's a royal palace. And we were there when it reopened, and we went inside with other local folks. And right now, it's pretty much local folks going there. And I liked it because it wasn't overwhelming with a lot of visitors. And we had good physical distancing, and we saw incredible exhibits. And one request we have, Michael, is local folks, let's go down to the Iolani Palace. It's only open 2 days a week right now, Friday and Saturday. And the price, there's a combined price, it's a little over $11 per person, and they really need the funding. They have $35,000 in cost every month just to pay for air conditioning and those things like that. And they used to pay for that with people coming in, and it's been shut down for a couple months, and it's opening up very slowly. But we went down, we bought tickets, we contributed to help cover that cost, and we had a great experience. And I think tomorrow, Saturday, we're hoping more families from Oahu will go there and get the tour and then walk outside, see the incredible grounds, the incredible trees, and just feel the voices, hear the voices, and feel the emotion of this place. It's a powerful, powerful place.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. As as we were walking around, we were touring around, and we could go into the throne room and see, the thrones and dresses and decorations and things, and we could go upstairs. We could go into the imprisonment room where Liliuokalani was basically kept under house arrest, and she had composed
months and
beautiful
months.
music.
Yeah.
I mean,
and sewed a beautiful quilt with all our ladies in waiting. This huge quilt that's there, you can look at and see every stitch, and think about some of those stitches were sewn by the Queen. While she was hoping her kingdom would be restored. It's a powerful place, and I think going there, even if you've been there before, I saw things I had not seen before, probably because it wasn't as crowded. And I think, of course, you think of young folks who've never been there. I bet you the majority of the people on this island have not visited the palace. It's a good time to go.
it's a wonderful time to go.
Yeah.
And so
you're going to take your wife?
I would love to.
You should think about it.
I think she would love visiting. Yeah, I mean, I know.
Bring your mom and dad. Have they ever gone? You don't know?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you should see.
I'm sure they did. I mean,
think?
maybe when my mom was in elementary school, but but so much in our city is reopening, and we're taking it at a measured pace. Every step to reopening we take is calculated. We're consulting with doctors, we're consulting with epidemiologists, we're consulting with medical professionals, and slowly but surely, step by step, we're reopening.
That's right. And of course, the biggest reopening that needs to happen yet is inviting visitors back. Even if we reopen everything with no modifications, there's still modifications in place, plexiglass in stores, those kind of things, hair salons. We're not going to see a strong economy. We need a certain level of visitors to come back. Of course, visitors, when they travel, the virus travels too. And the bulk of our visitors came from the continental United States, and that's where we have a lot of cases yet. And in certain states, like California, which is a major place where visitors come from, a lot of cases and growing. And so we got to be very careful, but we're starting to talk about that too, Michael, and you've been listening to some of those discussions of how do we open up to visitors, and it requires maybe testing visitors before they come 3 days before, and they show a negative test, they can come in with no quarantine, but if you come without a test, then you got to quarantine for 14 days. And maybe bubbles with Japan, that's where certain countries would agree to also test, or there are countries where the virus is very low, just like Hawaii, and perhaps they will be able to come because we will lift the quarantine for them, and of course they will lift the quarantine for us, so we can go. And this is how we start the first steps, putting our toe in the water to see how it's going to work with visitors coming from outside the state of Hawaii. We've started the process, right? Inter-island travel.
We have.
And I hear it's pretty busy at the airport, and people can go home to see their parents in Hilo or Kona or Wailuku or Lihui.
Yeah.
And people can come here to see their doctors and dentists and their friends, and so and go to Iolani Palace too.
Yeah, and they can go to Iolani Palace.
So we'll be talking more about that in terms of how we welcome visitors back to our shores, and I think in hopefully a different way than ever before.
Yeah.
It's not just about numbers anymore, overwhelming our communities and our neighborhoods and our beaches and hiking trails, but visitors are coming because they want to come to the safest place in America, but they want to keep us safe too.
Yeah.
We like those kind of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in again
Thank
with
you, guys.
Mayor and Mike. We hope that you have a great weekend.
Aloha.
Driving with Mayor and Mike.